do I even remember how to like vlog anymore? I had a very unexpected hiatus that I did not intend. Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Katie and I had a shitty April. Now, usually when I come on here with these kind of updates, I'm talking about writing and how a lot of my problems are revolving around writing, which is both the bane of my existence and my entire reason for living. I usually talk about my chronic illness and other things and mental health and things that I've been struggling with, like my workaholic nature. However, today I'm going to talk a little bit about my April and why it sucked so bad. And unfortunately, it had nothing to do with me. It was completely out of my control. It was not good. It's hard to say out loud, but my dog, Belle, died in early April. Now, if you don't want to know anything about her death or anything relating to that or anything, you can skip to the happier parts of this video where I talk about exciting things in May and the good parts of April. So if you want to do that, you can. But I just wanted to say in a video that Belle had passed, mostly because Belle is one of the biggest parts of my life. She was my best friend. And so obviously, naturally, I share a lot of her, as well as Bear, my other dog. He's okay, by the way, he's fine. Almost every single vlog has a clip of her in it, has something to do with her, has me talking to her. I have so much content, both in my personal life on my personal computer and also in vlogs. I even have a scrapbook video from the end of last year that I literally put together because I had so much footage of the dogs that I just didn't know where to put it. So I put it in like the scrapbook formula. And yeah, it was really hard losing her. I think I'd mentioned a couple times on live streams and definitely in some Instagram posts that she was sick in some capacity. We did not know how badly it was. She's always thrown up a lot. Like that's just, you know, we always talked about how hot girls have stomach issues, and you know, she had anxiety and she was very neurotic, and it wasn't a big deal until March. And we didn't think that it was that bad because we thought she was throwing up because all of us had COVID and she's very sensitive to things that happen. We thought maybe she had an ear infection, and so like when she moved around and stuff, she would get dizzy and that's why she was throwing up. Turns out none of that was the truth. We took her to the vet to get emergency surgery for something else that was an issue. Her stomach had twisted on itself. It's something that happens to bigger dogs, especially, called torsion. And we're usually very careful with our dogs. Like after they eat, they have to go into their crates for an hour, like call it after dinner nap, just to make sure that the food is digesting and so the stomach doesn't flip. Because if it does, you don't know about it, it can kill your dog. So we took her to the vet hospital to get that done. They fixed it, naturally. But then they also unfortunately discovered that she had really advanced, very aggressive stomach cancer, and she couldn't be saved. They couldn't operate on her stomach in a way that would allow her to continue living. And yeah, so the tumor grew in literally the worst possible place that it could have grown. It was the best thing for her to have them put her to sleep while she was, you know, still under anesthesia, because the alternate was obviously she was in tremendous amounts of pain. She couldn't digest any food, so the alternative literally would have been that she would have starved to death, which is horrific. So we had literally no choice, and it was so sudden. If you didn't know, Belle was only 5 years old. She just had her 5th birthday in September. She was turning 6 this year. She was energetic, ready to play. She's a relatively, you know, she was a young dog even for a large breed, and we really thought we had a good prognosis with the stomach torsion because we caught it really early. It just was very unfortunate that she had cancer in the worst fucking possible place. So yeah, it went from we thought we were gonna go pick her up to she's gone. It was really traumatic, obviously, and the grief has been overwhelming. But I also don't want to hide what happened to her or like, you know, like try to sweep it under the rug. I know I mentioned it on my Instagram and I would have made a community post about it, but I wanted to put trigger warnings at the beginning of this video in case you wanted to skip past the animal death mentions and stuff. Grief is weird and complicated, and it's been really, really difficult not having her. I don't know if you can hear in the background, but we did end up getting a new puppy. He's barking now because he's in his crate for after dinner nap, funnily enough. It's really early, obviously. It's May 2nd when I'm filming this, and we got him April 30th, so it'd been, or maybe it was April 28th. It was last Friday, so 3 weeks exactly since we lost her. I'm not gonna stop grieving her. I'm not gonna stop missing her every second of my life, but the void in the house was unbearable. It was awful having to live in a house without like this another dog, because we always have 2 dogs, and our other dog, Bear, obviously Bear's fine, but he was acting funny. Obviously there's a lot of stuff people who say, and I have now experienced this firsthand, who say that dogs grieve too, and he isn't used to being all alone. We literally got Belle when he was a puppy, basically, or still basically a puppy. He's 7, so he's about a year and a half older than her, so he really isn't used to or hasn't been alone for a while. Have some happy footage of Blue. His name's Blue. He's a yellow lab. He's a rambunctious little tyke. If you follow my newsletter, you heard a lot about him. He's very funny. He's very energetic, very lab-like. I always said that Belle was more cat than dog, and Blue is definitely more dog. He's very dog-like. That's Blue. He'll be in my videos going forward. And I just want to say, like, I know this topic is very nuanced. Grief always is, and I know almost a lot of you, if not all of you, are good faith people who take stuff in good faith, and no one is ever going to be able to replace my fluff. Like, she was my fluff, she was my baby, but you know, it's just because I have another dog doesn't mean I don't love her and not grieving her. You know, just because he isn't her doesn't mean I can't love him as much as I loved her. So that's basically why my April sucked and why there hasn't been a video in a month. So yeah, my April got completely wrecked. But at the end of April, I finally had enough emotional and mental energy to open up my documents and even like begin to think about writing. Writing is my escape. Writing has always been my escape and now is literally no different. But I am going to be trying to like recreate camp this month, May, because for a very good reason, it is May Chaos Reign, Year 2 Electric Boogaloo, or Clash of Queens is what it actually is called. If you don't know what May Chaos Reign is, hi, well, I'm about to introduce you to your new favorite thing. This is an event that is hosted by some of my very good friends here on AuthorTube, the Chaos Queens, who started doing live streams in May 2 Mays ago. They are Violet from Writing Violet, Marta, Mars from somberhoney Books, and Crystal from Crystal's Cluster. I believe everything about them linked down below. Please go subscribe. Some of my favorite people, favorite human beings. And they have videos explaining exactly what May Chaos Reign is, exactly what's going on, as well as the prompts and the stuff and everything that's going on. They also have an awesome quiz, which you can take, that I highly recommend you taking, because this year is slightly different than last year. This year we're divided onto 2 teams, Team Sky and Team Sea. Last year I participated and had so much fun. I have a vlog up of it, and if you're not already involved, I am 1/4 of the Troublemakers. We stream every single Friday at 9:30 a.m. Eastern time, and we run a Discord called the Troublemakers Library. I will leave everything you need to know about that down below. You can come join us if you haven't already. It's a great group of writers, and the Chaos Queens are a part of it, and we have a room dedicated to May Chaos Reign. So you can jump in by making some memes, showing off pictures of your pets, your crafts, talking about the book that you're writing, and of course, most important part, trash talking the other team. I mean, encouraging people to complete their goals, obviously. So I am a part of the Sea Queens. So here are those prompts. I do love these prompts, which is why I picked them. But my nano book is actually water themed. Sort of. I'll explain in a moment. So for this month, I'll be doing my best to stay active on Instagram. You can follow me at WriterScripples for more content, as well as I'll be making vlogs to show off my completion of each of the prompts. As for what I'll be working on, because this is actually a writing challenge and I'm trying to get some words, I'm working on a book that I've affectionately titled Lake Actually, hence the lake, aka water theme. It's not a mermaid book, unfortunately, but actually it's a contemporary romance with no magic, no speculative element, and like normal people. I know, it's crazy, right? Anyway, what is this book? Well, I've described it to my friends as Love Actually, but doesn't actually take place at Christmas and is instead at a lake, hence Lake Actually. Clever, huh? But here is the kicker, and why it's actually comped to Love Actually, because you're like, what? If it's not about Christmas, why is it called Love Actually or comped to Love Actually? It's because it's 10 point of views. All of the love stories in it are dual POV, and there's five couples, and 5 times 2 equals 10, thus 10 POVs. Cue the clown music. Yeah. I was actually posting about this book in April on my Instagram. The posts are still up before everything went down the drain, and I'll continue to do that in May, including snippets, aesthetics, ramblings, and the overall absolute insanity that is trying to write this book, especially because I've actually been writing it out of order. So that's been a bit of a problem, but I'm trying not to do anything but write it, so that's a problem for future Katie. but that future me probably won't exist because this book will probably be declared done and then put on a shelf and never seen again, because who wants a book with 10 POVs? Absolutely nobody. Anyway, if you're part of the Discord or my newsletter, there's a lot of self-promo in this video. I do apologize. My newsletter is always linked down below. I only send it out once a month at the very end with all the updates on everything you could possibly want from me, so I won't clog up your inbox, don't worry. You've probably heard about it, but here's a quick refresher or lowdown if you have no idea what I'm even talking about. This story involves 6 friends, all of whom are from rich families that own cottages around a very specific lake, and every summer they were inseparable. Now they're older and haven't all been back together in quite some time. However, in the winter, a natural disaster of some sort hits the lake and destroys a lot of the cottages, and in order for them to be inhabited during the summer season, which their families still go to, they need to be repaired. So they all come together to rebuild the cottages, reconnect, and they each have their different reasons for being there. So there's a little bit of forced proximity, gives a reason for all these people to be there and to know each other and to actually be somewhat isolated while also having like history with one another. Of the couples, there's an established couple that's navigating an age gap. One has fake dating. One is a very slow burn, almost rivals to friends to lovers, but it's more like you bullied me as a kid, but like you were pulling my proverbial pigtails, and then something happened, and then the bully tries to apologize for it because he's secretly in love with that friend, and then they end up being friends later on in life, and then they go to lovers. But when they're on the way to being friends, they have a drunken hookup and then pretend nothing happened afterwards because they're still trying to be friends, right? And then angst ensues because it's me and I can't write a book without angst. One that involves miscommunication in the way that one of the characters never says his feelings because he's so shy, reserved, and quiet. The other one can't really understand what is going on in his head. But that character who doesn't know what's going on in his head is a total flirt, a total extrovert, and his friends bet him that he can't sleep with said introverted, quiet character before the start of the summer. So romance ensues, obviously. And one that is second chance, but by way of they're having a friends with benefits relationship that they're struggling to keep casual, but they also are the only people who have ever understood each other. But they're also like, yeah, we're just such great friends. It's just, we just sometimes have sex together. But we're just friends. We're just friends. They were not, dear reader, just friends. I did write a query letter for this book, but I'm not going to read it because it actually shows how inconsistent, incohesive, and non-comprehensible this book actually is. But it exists. It was an exercise and it was exhausting, but I have it. So if you hear me talking about the Lake book or the 5 novels in a trench coat or Lake Actually, this is the book that I mean. I do have a plot bunny book that I'm going to be working on, but I'm not going to go into detail in this specific video because there is a prompt, you remember from this helpful little thing, that it's about a plot bunny. So I'll talk about that plot bunny more in the plot bunny video. Look, there's going to be vlogs coming, people. But I've set my goal for this month to be about 35K. I'm hoping for more, but I have no idea. You have no idea what life entails, clearly. So we'll see. So I hope you join in with May Chaos Reign, Year 2, Electric Boogaloo, Queen's Clash. It's truly so much fun. You can see my vlog from last year, as well as the other Chaos Queens and everyone who participated. So definitely go give them a follow and everyone else involved. And definitely join our Discord. We're super fun, I promise. And if you want to see more of my writing journey and what I'm up to, you can subscribe to see more of my rambling face. Join my newsletter if you want more updates on a monthly basis, because I don't always make these update videos, but this was an extenuating special circumstance. And especially subscribe to that newsletter if you want to read my ramblings rather than listen to them. I'll see you guys in the next one, and happy May Chaos Reign. Bye.